let's take a look at our top selections for Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the Grade 1 Joe Hirsch Turf Classic Invitational, race number 7 at beautiful Belmont Park on Saturday. Let's take a look at this field. We are going a mile and a half. This race, an important prep for the Breeders' Cup Turf. 7 have entered. You've got Rock Emperor for Chad Brown at 2-1. Channel Maker for Belmont finally put it all back together last time out. He's won this race in the past at 5-2. You've got the old Warhorse Sadler's Joy likely coming from the back of the pack at 7-2. Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race, Mike. The number 3 is Channel Maker, and Channel Maker was able to make the lead last time out. And during the stretch run of his race, you texted me, and I found it rather odd that you texted me because usually you text me only on Tuesdays when you need money. But the text this time said, "You're the worst." And you're right. I am the worst because I have been saying on these programs that I'm done with Channel Maker. I've had enough losing opportunities with Channel Maker, and he beat me at 8-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the story of your life, right? I mean, I wasn't surprised to see him finally win a race once you finally got off his back. The reality is, though, Dan, at least in my opinion, and, take that for what it's worth. But to me, that race and him getting back into form seemingly last time had everything to do with the ground and really nothing to do with anything else. He loves ground like that. And just about every other horse that runs in this country hates it.
And especially the number 1 Sadler's Joy, who just didn't fire that day. That was an extremely boggy turf course. His prior race, the Bowling Green, well, it was nice to see him get back into form. That was a very controversial disqualification where he was taken down. It still shows that Sadler's Joy has his kick. The question is, does Sadler's Joy get enough pace in a race like this?
You have to worry about what kind of trip he's going to get because you know where he's going to be early, and he's probably going to have to, pass a bunch of horses from the top of the stretch to the wire. But I've sort of gotten past worrying about the kind of trips he's going to get, and just wondering, whether he's in the right spot or not. I feel like in this race, assuming the ground is firm and it should be, that he's in the right spot. I know the Channel Maker handled them last time, but again, that had everything to do with the ground, in my opinion. I think this is the horse to beat in the race.
Masterpiece is the number 2, the X factor in the race for Chad Brown, shipping in from South America, first time Lasix, first off the layoff. You don't worry about layoffs and Lasix with Chad. You don't worry about foreign invaders with Chad. The question is, what kind of form are we getting for Masterpiece? I've heard a lot of good things about him in the morning. The horse that ran second last time out actually came to the United States, and he ran against Maximum Security in the Pacific Classic, so it's hard to actually realize what he was in against. If this horse can run at all, he fits in this race.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I looked at it. I mean, I just sort of feel like maybe this is the time to take an outsider in this race. And we'll just see. To me, the South American imports are always the hardest ones to evaluate because you just don't know what they're running against. I'm going to have to give him a pass for his last race over heavy ground, which I didn't see, but it looks like he didn't run well. This is what I do know about him, though. When they stretched him out to 1.25 miles, 3 starts back, he looked very good winning that race. Again, I don't know what he was beating, but he looked really good winning it. And then in his next start in the El Derby, the Group 1, he got a terrible trip in that race. I don't know how he finished third in there, but he had a lot of trouble early. He was way out of it at the top of the stretch, and he made a big run to get third in there.
Here's Channel Maker's last race in the Sword Dancer. He was able to show some of his old early speed over this very boggy turf course, and he's loving life on the lead right now, just drawing away from this field. He got a 1:08 Beyer speed figure. You know that's going to attract attention, rain or shine on Saturday. And I guess if you see the horses enter the paddock 2x2 leaving an arc, Channel Maker's got a big opportunity to win his second Joe Hirsch.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, we'll just see what happens as far as, the kind of turf he gets and whether he can make the lead, Dan, because I think it is at least worth pointing out that one of the reasons that you kept trying to get him back to the winner's circle is because you felt like maybe he'll make the lead again. And when he makes the lead, he's very tough, but on firm ground, he could never make the lead. They were trying to make the lead with him and he could never get there. over that boggy turf course last time, which he really likes. He had no trouble making the lead and he never looked back.
Interesting stretch out for the number 4 Rock Emperor, who just got beaten the Manhattan 2 starts back. It's been a lot of close but no cigars for this Chad Brown trainee. I don't know about you, Mike. I didn't like his last race at Churchill Downs in the Turf Classic. It looked like he was going nowhere fast at about the 5/16 pole on the outside, and somehow he was able to clunk up for third despite failing to change leads. Listen, he's a solid horse from a Beyer speed figure standpoint. I guess he can work out a good trip in here. I'm not too concerned about the distance. I just didn't love his last race.
Yeah, I don't love his last race. As a matter of fact, I think it's hard to love, really any of the races that he's run over. He's run some good ones, to be sure, but, he's been over here for what? I don't know, 15 months now. He still hasn't won a race for Chad Brown. I don't know if he wants to go 1.5 miles or not. I thought one of the reasons he was interesting last time, because I thought maybe cutting back a little would help him. It didn't help him. Maybe he wants to go longer. I'm not betting this horse as the favorite.
Cross Border's just a hard hitter for Michael Maker. He was placed first via that curious disqualification in the Bowling Green 2 starts back, and the way Channel Maker ran over the soft turf and the Sword Dancer, he didn't have much of a chance, but he gave his good, usual, honest effort. What I like about Cross Border is you can ride him anyway. I think he'll probably be sitting second in the early portion of this race off of Channel Maker. The distance, I think, is a little bit of a question for this horse, but he's so consistent that I don't want to leave him out, and I think he'll be a good price again.
I agree with all that stuff. I think he'll get a good trip in this race. We'll see. Maybe 1.5 miles isn't his best distance, but, he's certainly run well over it a couple of times already. He ran fine last time, all things considered. His Bowling Green, listen, I felt like Sadler's Joy was going to beat him that day and did, get there first. But, he was bothered in the stretch, so I understand why they made the change. This horse was in contention, and he was legitimately bothered in that race. So whatever, they put him first. He's going to get a good trip in this race, and I think he can win.
Lucario, the number 6, comes in from Germany. If we know anything about these German breds, they're stout. They will run all day long, and they handle any kind of footing. I liked what I saw from this horse last year as a 3-year-old. His race 2 starts back, I know he was the beaten favorite. He ran really well. He got into a little bit of traffic that day. He was splitting horses. He got beat a nose when it looked like he was going to be a winner. Then he disappears. He comes back off an extremely long layoff in an extremely tough spot, a Group 1 race over yielding going, and he looked tired in the stretch, and it's interesting that he's here because they could have run him back in another Group 1 in Germany. I wonder if he bled in that race. And the reason he's here is because maybe he'll get firmer ground, but certainly he'll get Lasix.
Those are both very interesting points for a horse who actually has form and who you don't have to worry about distance with. And, we've seen this trainer ship in before and win some pretty big races. So there are things to like about this horse at a price.
And it just seemed like that was a good race last time out. The third horse coming back to finish third in the Prix Vermeil for Fillies and Mares, a Group 1 in France. The fourth horse coming back to win that aforementioned Group 1 in Germany. I think he's an interesting play. The 7 is Highland Sky. And Highland Sky, Mike, I think slowly, ever so slowly, is rounding himself back into form. He has not won on turf, amazingly enough, since June of 2018. We know he likes the distance. I just wonder if he's a cut below these horses when we're getting into the Grade 1, Grade 2 stratosphere.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always looked at him. I mean, I don't really want him in these races. I suspect that he will be running at the end of this race. Maybe he'll pick up a piece or two. I'm done trying to make Highland Sky beat these horses.
Let's take a look at our top picks in here because you're going with the X Factor, the 2 masterpiece. In watching his races, where do you expect him to be placed given an alert break?
If you go by the race 3 back when they went 1.25 miles, he sat a really nice trip in that race. He was not far away from the pace. He was, very comfortable tracking the leaders, and then he really ran through the stretch. And again, after that, he just had real trouble early in his very next start. So I think he does have some tactical speed, Dan. I don't know. I just wanted somebody else. I love Sadler's Joy as much as anybody loves Sadler's Joy, and I'm going to use him. But I'm, kind of done betting him, especially at short prices. I want no part of Channel Maker in here. I want no part of Rock Emperor in here. I'm going to try the X Factor.
I'm going to go with cross border in here. I think a good trip is coming. I think the soft turf worked against him, although I thought he tried very hard to be second behind Channel Maker. I'll give him an opportunity. I think 9-2 on the morning line's fair against this field. You're going 2-1-4-5. I'm going 5-3-6-4. It's the Grade 1 Joe Hirsch Turf Classic Invitational. Race number 7 at Belmont on Saturday is an approximate post of 4:03 Eastern. Good luck.